Hello everyone, and welcome back to Monsters of the Past Revisited. You might have noticed I look fine now. Yeah, unfortunately, our sleep contest got interrupted. You ready to drop out, Catherine? No way! Alright, I've had enough of this. Ugh. I'm still kinda mad at him for that. I was gonna win too. But anyway, I guess since it's over now, it's all back to normal. So, let's get to today's subject, marsupials. More specifically, extinct ones. Before we begin, what is a marsupial? Well, marsupials are mammals with an interesting birthing method. Instead of giving birth to fully developed babies, marsupials give birth to their babies when they're still barely developed. After giving birth to the borderline embryo, they have to crawl up their mother to reach a pouch where they finish their development. Okay, now that we know what marsupials are, let's get to the extinct ones. This is Thylaca smilis from Miocene South America. Don't be fooled by its appearance, it is indeed a marsupial. Well, okay, not really. It's part of a group closely related to marsupials, but I don't want to give them its own video, so it's close enough, okay? Anyway, meaning pouch knife, the name makes sense when you see their skeleton. Like the Smilodon, they had very large canine teeth, but on their skull, there was a pouch that seemed to act like sheaths for them. Quite fascinating. It's possible that these could have even acted like sharpeners, you know? They rubbed up against the bone and they, like, sharpened their teeth or something. Kind of creepy to think about. Or maybe they were just pouches to keep their teeth so they didn't dry out or something. Who knows? Now, why do they look like cats exactly? Well, I think it's a good time to discuss it. You see, this is known as convergent evolution, when two unrelated animals end up evolving similar body plans and from a glance look like relatives despite not being related. Some modern examples of convergent evolutions include dolphins and sharks and bats and birds, and marsupials are quite prone to convergent evolution. After all, possums look like rats, despite not being rodents, and koalas look like bears, despite not being ursine. Quite the fascinating concept, and we'll be seeing more examples later in this video. Boreana, also from South America, was notably had a similar build to the hyena, hence its name. But again, it wasn't a placental mammal, it's just another case of convergent evolution. Now heading over to the marsupial's homeland, Australia. Here we have Thylaca, the pouch lion. As its name suggests, it was a very lion-like marsupial, and it got the nickname marsupial lion. One of the first things you might notice is that it has some pretty weird-looking teeth. You see, Thylaca was kind of an anomaly of evolution, as pretty much all of its relatives and ancestors are herbivores, so it pretty much has herbivorous teeth that were turned into meat-eating teeth. Quite fascinating. Now, these teeth were no joke. Some estimates place that Thylaca had the highest bite force of any mammal, and yes, that includes whales, so you wouldn't want to end up in their mouth, would you? Now, how Thylaca hunted is something that's been debated since its discovery. Some say they were scavengers, some say they were like cheetahs, running down their prey until they tired out, some say they were ambush predators, some say they were like leopards and dropped from the trees. That last theory is also notable for the fact that it bears an uncanny resemblance to an Australian urban legend known as the drop bear, an allegedly carnivorous marsupial that drops down from the trees. Because of this resemblance, some speculate that maybe the myth of drop bears is based on a cultural memory of the Thylaca from ancient times. Interesting stuff to think about, isn't it? But, of course, that's assuming drop bears are ever taken seriously as an urban legend. To be honest, they're kind of like gremlins and jackalopes, where I can't tell if they were ever taken seriously or they're just something that from day one was just meant as a joke. Now, before we get to our final subject, let's talk about some marsupials that don't have cards. This is Procoptodon, the largest kangaroo to have ever existed. Notably, these guys are thought to have been so big and heavy they couldn't have been able to hop like modern kangaroos and would have just walked. Which, that's weird, right? Just imagining a walking kangaroo. Ugh, no. It's like trying to, no, don't like that, no. The Diprotodon was a relative of the wombat and is the largest marsupial to have ever lived, and they had massive teeth which could easily tear through the wood brush of their day. Let's go back in time to the Cretaceous for a second with Didelphodon. Again, not a true marsupial, but close enough. These guys were contemporaries with Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops, and the other Cretaceous pals. And in fact, you probably already heard their name already. If you've seen Walking with Dinosaurs, you probably remember them. Yeah, they were these guys. Now, notably, in the show, they're portrayed as badger-like animals, but in the years since, more fossils have been discovered, and nowadays it's thought they would have been more like otters, and they were even possibly semi-aquatic, though that's still debatable. And now, time for the final subject, and one that's just depressing. This is thylacine. And these guys are the epitome of convergent evolution, as despite being marsupials, they look almost exactly like dogs, in both appearance and bone structure. The thylacine was a carnivore, and given lack of bigger carnivores in its region, an apex predator, and they notably had the ability to open their jaws really wide. Some think this actually helped them hunt larger animals, but others dispute that. Now, their exact hunting method and whether they hunted in packs or not, that's also disputed. Now, okay, this is where things get sad. You might have noticed that this is an actual photograph of the guy, and not of a fossil or an illustration like the other animals in this series. And that's because the thylacine didn't go extinct until the 1930s. Yeah. It hasn't even been 100 years since they went extinct. The thylacine had already died out in the mainland of Australia sometime during the Ice Age after all the megafauna died, so afterwards it was only found on the island of Tasmania, and their complete extinction is blamed on two factors. For one, the dingo. These feral dogs likely outcompeted the thylacine and proved to be more capable hunters than them, driving the thylacine to starvation. And the second reason, they were often targeted by farmers. You see, the thylacine was considered a major pest for livestock, as it was thought they were responsible for the death of many sheep and chickens. So as such, farmers went out of their way to hunt them down, which led to their numbers drastically falling, until the last known thylacine died in 1936. None have been officially spotted since, leading to the species being declared extinct. Now, the thylacine does have rounds in cryptozoology, as many have said they've seen the thylacine in the wild in the years since, but like most cryptid sightings, these are unconfirmed. Some speculate the Australian government is actively hiding the existence of surviving thylacines to protect them until they have a high enough population again, but at that point we're getting into conspiracy territory. The thylacine is truly a sad case of an extinction event, and we still have many pictures and even videos of the animal to remind us of what we used to have. Quite tragic. And overall, the marsupials are quite the lineage of mammals, and they're quite the fascinating bunch. Alright, let's look at the cards. With thylacine, it uses a weird word to describe something. It says they use their teeth to smash bones. Is that weird to anyone else? I've never heard people say their teeth smash things. I've heard they chew things up, mash them, and slice them, but smash? That just sounds weird. I can't deduct a point since it's not an error, but still, that bothers me. Who says your teeth smash things? Anyway, I hate that this card treats it like it was a genuinely terrible animal that was scary. It borderline talks about it like it deserved to go extinct, and for that, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, because that is just rude, okay? Okay. Thylacosmilus does this thing that bothers me, but I'm not sure if I should deduct points for it or not. And that's that at no point does it ever clarify it wasn't a feline. I don't know, it just seems weird that you have a creature that's a prime example of convergent evolution, and then at no point do you ever clarify that it's not what you think it is. Missed opportunity there. You know what, 9 out of 10. I don't care if I'm being petty, that just bothers me too much. Yeah. Boreana calls it a true marsupial, they were just close relatives, 9 out of 10. And Thylacoleo, it looks like a weird mutant weasel. Anyway, on the back, claims they're a relative of the thylacine. That's not really true. Besides them being both marsupials, they weren't that closely related. 9 out of 10. Well, goodbye, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this hopping episode. By the way, where's Eric? I win. I've proven I'm not a wimp. I have stolen the Eiffel Tower. Eric, that's a box of toothpicks. No, it's not. It's the Eiffel Tower. Henry VIII told me it was. What? You see? Right there. Eiffel Tower. And wait a minute. Your eyes aren't pink. You fell asleep. I win! I win! Poor guy. Who's gonna tell him Andrew was competing too?